Shalom, shalom, shalom. Breaking news. Let the games begin. Israel bombs Qatar. Let me say this again. Israel just finished bombing Qatar in the capital, in Doha. Let the games begin. Israel bombed Qatar. Breaking news. So, let's just quickly, let's get my mug off the screen. Let me get my mug off the screen, right? Sorry, family. Israel just bombed Qatar, the capital of Qatar, Doha.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Sana hindi pumani yung kotse. Oh my God!
هذا هو المبنى يا الربع تشوفوا هذه كلها مباني.
Let me go, let me just happened. They just bombed it, the capital.
And we are monitoring the situation unfolding in the capital of Qatar. Just moments ago, the Israeli military says it conducted a strike against senior Hamas leadership there. There have been multiple explosions reported in the capital of Doha. This is just happening now, and Dan Hoffman, our Fox News contributor, joins us on the phone. Some people think this is 2 years too late, that Qatar was harboring Hamas leadership for years on end and giving them billions of dollars. And now apparently they are no longer given safe harbor in Doha. Dan, over to you.
Yeah, there's clearly no safe zone for Hamas, and this is an escalation by Israel. But it's worth emphasizing that there was a Hamas delegation in Doha led by their leader Khalil al-Hayya, and another senior official, their co-chair, Khalid Mishal, who spent a lot of time in Doha. They were meeting with senior Iranian officials, including the Iranian foreign minister. And so Israel decided to take this opportunity to take out the Hamas terrorist leadership. There are issues here, intelligence questions about, obviously they knew where these guys were, but all the work that the Israelis had to do to ensure that there was no collateral damage on innocent civilians in Qatar's capital city. It's an escalation diplomatically, and Israel will have to deal with the ramifications of that in their bilateral relationship with Doha. But Israel has emphasized that if Hamas doesn't release all the hostages, then Israel will take further action and escalate their strikes in Gaza and their military operations there. And obviously that now it's clear it doesn't exclude Israeli operations outside of Israel.
So let me go to Al Jazeera. I've got to give you a bit of flavor of everyone's. This is gonna hit the news waves globally. And apparently Donald Trump gave the green light for them to do this. Donald Trump gave them the green light to do this. All right. Oh, this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Let me calm down. Let's hear what Al Jazeera says.
Our audiences at home, if you're just joining us, it's gone just past 14 GMT. That's 5 p.m. here locally in Doha, the capital of the state of Qatar. Let's remind you, of course, of our breaking news that the Israeli military has carried out airstrikes on Hamas leadership here in Qatar. Loud explosions could be heard in the capital and plumes of smoke can be seen rising. Israeli media reports that Khalil al-Hayya and Zahir Jabarin, part of Hamas's negotiation delegation, were among the targets of the strike. Hamas officials say that all members of that leadership delegation have survived that attack. Now, Qatar's foreign ministry has released a statement on the strike saying the state of Qatar condemns in the strongest terms the cowardly Israeli attack targeting residential buildings housing several members of the Hamas political bureau in the Qatari capital, Doha. This criminal attack constitutes a flagrant violation of all international laws and norms and a serious threat to the security and safety of Qataris and residents of Qatar. The ministry affirms that security agencies, civil defense, and relevant authorities immediately began responding to the incident and taking the necessary measures to contain its consequences and ensure the safety of residents and surrounding areas. The Qatari statement goes on to say, while strongly condemning this attack, the state of Qatar affirms that it will not tolerate this reckless Israeli behavior and its continued tampering with regional security, as well as any action targeting its security and sovereignty. Investigations, it says, are underway at the highest level, and further details will be announced as soon as they become available. Well, the Israeli army has also issued a statement saying the Air Force recently carried out a targeted strike against senior members of the Hamas terrorist organization. The targeted leaders had been instrumental in the organization's activities for many years and are directly responsible for the October 7 massacre and the ongoing war against the state of Israel. Prior to the strike, measures were taken to minimize harm to civilians, including the use of precision-guided munitions and additional intelligence information. Right, well, we have Nida Ibrahim, our correspondent here on set. Nida, what updates are you getting now on what's happening?
We still do not have any confirmation from the Israeli sources if the assassination attempt was successful or not, if someone had been killed or not. But we're hearing Israeli military officials calling it the Fire Summit. And why they're calling it that? It's because the Americans have proposed to Hamas a new ceasefire deal that the Hamas delegation, the senior leadership of Hamas, have been meeting to discuss it. And after that, we've heard these loud explosions that were later appeared to be this assassination attempt and attack. Of course, we've been reporting there, Sarah, that the Al Jazeera has been talking to some Hamas people who are saying that no one has been injured during these strikes, but still it remains to be seen if anyone was harmed or injured. The Israeli media is talking about several names, including, as you say there, Khalil al-Hayya, the head of the delegation, as well as Khalid Mash'al, who himself was previously the political bureau chief of the party before he's been replaced. And we're talking about names like Hussam Badran, Tahir al-Nunu, Musa Abu Marzouk, all senior leaderships of Hamas that we're yet to see what has happened to them. We are seeing also Israeli media talking about this decision coming jointly, not just by Israel, but also by the US as well. Of course, we are still waiting for a White House confirmation from...
Told you, Donald Trump signed it off. Donald Trump signed it off. All praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All praises, man. All praises, man. We are truly living in the end days. Revelation 16:16, right? And he gathered them together to a place called, in the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon. Truly, we are in these times.
Our teams there, but we can see that across the board in the Israeli political scene, Israeli military scene, there's a lot of jubilation. There are a lot of congratulations, if you may. We've seen Yair Lapid, the head of the opposition, talking about an exceptional operation in the heart of Doha.
If you've been wearing glasses more than 5 years, stop scrolling.
No way.
We're looking for people in the UK.
And as you said there, this is Israeli media that's reporting that this was greenlit by the US. Speaking to our senior political analyst, Marwan, he had said that it would be very surprising if it hadn't, that it hadn't known about it, considering that the biggest US base is here in Qatar.
Indeed, and we've seen how Netanyahu has been moving on with his plans, really not caring about any soul in the world other than President Donald Trump. So it would be surprising if Israel has conducted this assassination attempt without the at least knowledge of the US administration. As we've said again and again, that Netanyahu cares about Donald Trump's opinion. He would not go on such an attack against Qatar, a place, as you say, that holds the largest American base in the region without that prior potential coordination. Now, Israeli media is also saying that the members of the mini or the small security cabinet have been aware of that attack before it happened, and their members have been asked to remain and keep the basically the operation and the information under a lid until.
And I told you, Benjamin, not a Jew, he spoke with the Rebbe 30 years ago, and the Rebbe told him that he is the man that's going to usher in the Messiah. Now, Benjamin, not a Jew, truly believes that he is the man that's going to usher in the Messiah. And he knows that can only happen through the War of Armageddon. He knows that. To truly believe what's going on. Donald Trump signed it off for these guys to do this. Now, this, I got to show you it again. Even I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Even I'm shocked. Then again, I'm not. I'm lying. I'm not shocked.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Sana hindi pumani yung kotse. Oh my God!
هذا هو المبنى الرابع تشوفوا هذه كلها مباني
See that? American and British spy planes were seen flying over Doha before the attack because Esau are in it together. These are all Edomite nations. These are the NATO allies. They're all working in sync together. Those Arabs are in for a true awakening. Now remember, Netanyahu, I'm going to bring out a couple scriptures, but not many. This is kind of like this little quick video, boy, right? Because it's all over the news. Remember Netanyahu, right? I'll just quickly show you something. This is what this man believes when he met this is what the Rebbe told him. This was in 1990, all right? That's what, 35 years ago, right? This is the Rebbe to the right. Netanyahu's going to approach him, right? You're going to see Netanyahu come into the picture. Now read the subtitles. It's going to come up on the screen, the subtitles, right? So read them. It says, what hasn't changed, however, is that Moshiach, which is the Messiah, still hasn't come. This is what he told Netanyahu 35 years ago, all right? We're in 2025, 1990, 35. This is what he told him. He says, what hasn't changed, however, is that the Mashiach, which is the Messiah, still hasn't come yet. So, see what it says there? So do something to hasten his coming. Benjamin Netanyahu truly believes that he is the man to usher in the Messiah, because he knows they have to claim back the land from the river Nile to the river Euphrates, because that is the promised land. That little bit of sliver that they live in today, they call the state of Israel, that's just part of the promised land. They have to go the full 9 miles. So he does believe that he's the man, Netanyahu, to usher in the Messiah. And this is why I said this before. He's going to go all out to go to war against these Arabs. They think they're safe, these Arabs. They got a rude awakening. They got a rude awakening. We're doing. He says we're doing. They truly are doing. But the Messiah is coming to take them down, not to raise them up. He says, apparently it's not enough. And this is what I said. He's not going to hold. No bars hold. No bars hold this time. Truly believe this. Yeah. Since many hours have already passed today and he's still not here. This is what he believes. This is what Netin, not a Jew, this is what he believes. So still try for today. So you understand? That's what he believes. Let's go back to the bit of this news here. All right, I'm going to bring out.
Bill Hemmer's with me as well, in case you want to jump in.
Dan, when you think about the war in Gaza and the warning that Netanyahu gave those in Gaza City, just even 48 hours ago, for up to 20,000 residents there to move out. So they're making a move on that city, and at the same time they're going after the leadership. What's the impact of taking out the leadership with regard to the war in Gaza?
I think if you ask General Jack Keane, he'll tell you that Hamas is going to carry on fighting. Israel is engaged in an insurgency right now. And even if Israel is able to decapitate Hamas, which they largely have, Hamas is down to, way down the line from their battalion commanders who've just been decimated by Israeli strikes. But Hamas is continuing to fight. And in a classical sense, and I can tell you from my experience serving in Iraq during our counterinsurgency in 2006 to 2008, the goal is to try to divide the innocent civilian population from the irreconcilable terrorists, and think about what the post-conflict reconstruction plan is going to look like. Israel hasn't done that. They have taken the fight to Hamas effectively, but it's the question of what next. And
what's next? It's going to be an all-out war. It's going to be an all-out war. I want to see what Qatar's going to do. I want to see what Qatar's response is going to be to this. They got striked in the heart, in the capital. They got hit in the capital of Qatar. I want to see what their response is going to be. So I just want to give you, let me just give you Joel chapter 3. I'm going to give you one scripture. So I didn't really come to spend that long on this. I just kind of wanted to break that news to you. What's going on? Joel, the nations will be judged. Joel chapter 3. Let's just, as a matter of fact, let me do this, man, because I do like reading Joel chapter 3 from the AMP, from the Amplified Version. This is what's happening, truly. All right. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those climatic days, these are those climatic days that we are living in now. Right? Please understand this. And at that time, when I restore the fortunes of Judah and Jerusalem, when the Lord raises up his elect, which is what's going on now, the Lord's elect has been raised up from the four corners of the world. Started in Babylon the Great, America. I will gather together all the Gentile nations, which is exactly what the Lord is doing, that were hostile to my people, and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment. Yahweh has judged. As it says here, the Lord Yahweh has judged. This is where it's all going to take place. The Middle East, the powder keg is the Middle East. That is the final battleground. And there I will deal with them and enter into judgment, right? With them there. For what? For their treatment. This is the chaff of the whole situation. This is what it's all about ultimately. For the treatment of my people, the children of Israel, my inheritance, Israel, not the world, whom they have scattered amongst the nations, which is what they've done. Transatlantic slave trade was the last major scattering of the Lord's people. And because they have encroached, what have they done? Encroached on my land and divided it up. Who encroached on our land? The Edomites and the Ishmaelites. Who is our land divided between? The Edomites and the Ishmaelites. Exactly what the prophecy said. Because they've encroached on the Lord's land and divided it up between themselves. That's exactly what they have done. They have also cast lots for my people, transatlantic slave trade. When you're in a lot, you're being sold in an auction, and have traded a boy for a prostitute. Exactly what they did during the transatlantic slave trade. They call them bucks, right? And have sold a girl for wine that they may drink. Moreover, what are you to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon, and all the 5 small regions of Philistia, the African nations? Will you pay me back for something I have supposedly done to you? Even if you do pay me back, I will swiftly, speedily return your deed of retaliation on your own head. The Lord is going to pay back all of those nations that played a major part in our slavery. All of those nations that played a major part in basically exiling us from our land and our heritage. Because you have taken my silver and my gold and have carried my precious treasures to your temples and palaces and sold the children of Judah, the southern kingdom, and the children of Jerusalem, the southern kingdom, to the Greeks, the Edomites, the so-called white man, so that you may what? Send them far away from their territory. What is our territory? Israel, the promised land. So once they got us as far away from possible, what did Esau do? Divide up the land. Them and the Arabs have been fighting over the land for, I can't even tell you how long. It says, behold, I'm going to stir them up from the place where you have sold them. And that's exactly what's happened to us. The Lord has stirred up our spirit, woken us up to our true heritage, and returned them to their land. Only the Lord can return us to the promised land. And I shall return your action of retaliation, Esau, you Edomites, you Ishmaelites, on your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters. Chattel slavery is coming back in the kingdom into the hand of the children of Judah, and they will sell them to the Sabaeans and to the distant nations. Why? Is it because of my personal feelings? No. For the Lord Yahweh has spoken. Proclaim this amongst the pagan nations. Exactly what we are doing. Listen carefully. These are the pagan nations that are fighting out there in the Middle East. Proclaim this amongst the pagan nations. Prepare a war. Stir up the mighty men. Let all the men of war come near. Let them come up. That's exactly what's going on. Beat your plowshares into swords. This is what it's about. What did China show you the other day? China showed you a parade of men and women with their modern day swords, guns, weapons of warfare. Nations ain't beating swords into plowshares. They're not looking to make tools and equipment for farming, production. Everything these nations are pushing towards is towards a military campaign. The European Union have all increased their GDP, which they pay towards their military. They've increased it from something like 3% to 7%. Everyone is making weapons of war. Everyone is beating their plowshares into swords and their pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. These are the times that we are living in. We saw that the other day, right? China, Russia, North Korea. Remember, Russia was considered weak at once when the whole economy collapsed after the Berlin Wall went down in 1989 and the communism completely collapsed. Russia was bankrupt. They was queuing for miles just to buy bread in Russia. The shelves were empty. North Korea was like that for a period of time. China was like that for a long period of time. Now, all of these nations that were once considered weak and that once were considered weak are saying, I am strong. And they're all going to play a part in the war of Armageddon in the Middle East. Every single one of those nations. Hurry and come, all you surrounded nations, and gather yourselves there. Bring down, O Lord Yahweh, your mighty ones, your warriors. Who are the Lord's warriors? Those are the angels of the Lord. They're going to be like the conductors of this war, the Lord's angels. The Lord said, hurry and come, all you surrounded nations. Gather yourselves there. Bring down, O Lord Yahweh, your mighty ones, your warriors, your angels. Let the nations be stirred to action. That's exactly what you see doing. When you hear Israel has bombed Doha, the capital of Qatar, you tell me that's not going to stir up the Qataris? Now they know the Americans signed off on it, and the biggest American base is in Qatar. Let's see what happens. Let the nations be stirred to action. That's what we see going on. Netanyahu, not a Jew, is stirred to action. And come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the Middle East, the Levant. For there I will sit to judge and punish all the surrounding nations, put in the sickle of judgment. Why? For the harvest is ripe. The nations are ripe. The time is ripe. The condition is ripe. The only major thing we're waiting for before this to kick off properly is the mark of the beast, the microchip. It's the only thing we're waiting for on a global scale before these nations, in particular Russia and America, exchange nuclear missiles. But it will start with what's going. Scripture says, the least of the flock shall draw them out. Jeremiah 49 verse 20, the least of the flock shall draw them out. Who they're going to draw out? America, Babylon the Great, and its allies to this war. Come, tread the grapes, for the wine press is full, the fats overflow, for the wickedness of these people is great. It's beyond great. The wickedness of these nations, and first and foremost, the Edomite nations, the Edomites, it is truly great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, which is the valley of judgment, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is near in the valley of decision, which is the valley of Jehoshaphat, when judgment is executed. The sun and the moon grow dark and the stars lose their brightness. That's the point where you're going to see nuclear missiles exchanged. When the sun and the moon grow dark, you're not going to be able to see them from these mushroom clouds, and the stars lose their brightness because the heavens are going to be covered with nuclear missiles are going to be fired. Nuclear missiles are going to be fired in the Middle East. The Middle East you don't want to be nowhere near the Middle East. In any of those countries, Dubai, Qatar, Kuwait, Iraq, Iran, Israel, Jordan, any of those countries during these times. You need to give them a wide berth. You got to give all of those countries a wide berth, 100%. It says here, the Lord thunders and roars from Zion and utters his voice from Jerusalem in judgment of his enemies. The list of the Lord's enemies are in Psalms 83. And the heavens and the earth tremble and shudder, but the Lord Yahweh is a refuge for his people. They will what? And a stronghold of protection to who? To the children of Israel. That is the elect of the children of Israel. I tell you, it was so nice. I got to show you it twice. This is what just happened. One more time. I'm going to shut this down. Come back later.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Sana hindi pumani yung kotse.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Your God can't save you. Allah can't save you. Muhammad can't save you. This is the works of the Most High. This is the Lord's angels working through the Spirit on these leaders to take these actions. Your God cannot save you, darling.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Sana hindi pumani yung kotse. Oh my God!
See that? Smoke was seen rising over Qatari's capital. This is the capital. And Israel then confirmed the precise strike on Hamas terror chiefs. And what did they dub it? The Day of Judgment. What did they dub it? The Day of Judgment. What were we just reading? We're reading that these are the Lord's judgments that are coming to pass. That's going to lead us to the confrontation between the Russians and the Americans. They've dubbed it the Day of. He truly believes he's the man to usher in the Messiah. I showed you the video. He was told that 35 years ago. Netting not a Jew is all in, both feet in. They've dubbed it the Day of Judgment. That's the spirit. Yeah. The Day of Judgment is not reached yet, boy, but this is what's going to truly lead you to the day, because the Day of Judgment is a day of judgment, is a particular day. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm sure to come back later. This is going to be all over your news channels. So just keep an eye on the news. We are in those end times. The Lord is going to raise up the kings of Arabia. I could have went to that. I could have went to 2nd Ezra's. It speaks about the kings of the east. There's so many scriptures I could have gone to. But I didn't want to spend too long. I want to give you this news, digest it, and spiritually prepare yourself, boy. Like I always say, keep praying, keep safe, repent, and hold on to this truth. Shalom, shalom. And as always, double honors to the apostles, to the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom. And Barakatah Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakah, Kodash. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father. Yahushai is the Son. Shalom. Tawada. Keep your eyes on. This ain't no time to be letting up in this truth. This ain't no time to be backing up in this truth in any form or shape. This ain't no time to be down in your tools, man. We are living in those times. They've upped the stakes. All praises and glory. Shalom, 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 family. All praises.